So here I am back in the garage, um, not smoking. I quit smoking. That was my last cigarette, just to not wake up my girlfriend. Uh, yeah, I quit smoking. I'm gonna be vaping from here on out. I quit drinking beer, drinking bourbon, going through changes. But in this video, I have to talk about it, and it really sucks because it feels like nobody's watching the show, which is insane to me. Like I have no idea how not, but We Own This City on HBO, the new show from David Simon and Company. Uh, my elevator pitch for this show is that it's like The Shield condensed into 6 episodes, except that The Shield were a true story. Like this is based on something that actually happened and was actually way worse than The Shield. Like what these cops did was I'm telling you, if you, I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this have seen the show, but if you've not, it's like literally, it's like what Vic Mackey and his strike team did, but worse. And if they had like less, like they're portrayed as 3 dimensional, like real characters, especially John Burdenthal, I think. But it's like what he does is worse than Vic Mackey, and he has less scruples. Like he has less. Like Mackey has some like Mackey like thinks he's like actually cleaning up the streets and doing something right. Like which this guy kind of thinks he does, but he also like sells drugs. So which I don't think Mackey did. I don't think Mackey was like selling drugs to just make money. Like he was like against certain things. Like that's how they like roped you in with Mackey. Is like he seemed like he did believe in some things, and like there's a little bit of that here, but it's like mostly it's like, dude, this guy doesn't believe in shit. Like he believes in like protecting his family and protecting his like fraternal like order of his brothers in blue, but like any sense of right or wrong. Like with Mackey, there was like some sense. Anyways, I'm going on making the same point over and over, but that's what the We Own the City is. And I used to think like the way I would describe like to The Wire to people who hadn't seen it is I would say like David Simon, who was like this journalist who for years like just covered Baltimore, and he actually did like a year undercover, not undercover, like embedded with the Baltimore police, and he wrote that book Homicide, which became a show I think in the '90s. Like he knows his shit. And it's kind of like reporting, and there's kind of like an educational quality to his shows. But the way I would describe like The Wire to people was I would say like it's this guy's like diagnosis of what's wrong like with society, with with America. I think I was thinking about it tonight. I think I kind of amend that. I don't think it says diagnosis. I think it says autopsy because I think there's no hope. Like even like he doesn't always like provide solutions for things, but it's like you could diagnose and you could see what's wrong, but like there's no hope of really fixing it because people are kind of too stupid as a big group. Like the mass is uneducated. And it's hard to get people to go in one direction, right? You're divided. There's all these powerful forces that are make you divided. So yeah, people are kind of too stupid, and institutions are too corrupt, and corrupted by money. Like money rules everything. And David, in my opinion, David Simon's like autopsy report is correct. The problems are too big, and the institutions are too corrupt, and people are too stupid to ever fix any of these things. And I think that's what his shows are about, or at least We Own This City and The Wire. I think that's the story they're trying to tell. So, and it's like this big macro, big picture, highest eagle eyes view of the city, but also told through the minutia, through the smallest detail, down to the most human level and the motivations of the people who are being manipulated by the system that they're stuck living in. Does that make any sense? Like it's really hard to explain the appeal of a David Simon show. I think anyone who's seen these shows kind of gets what I'm saying here. But it's just like, it feels like everybody is kind of caught in this web that is bigger than themselves, and there's no way for any one person to change that. And so there's bad people, and like the main character in the show is a very terrible person, but he has some redeeming qualities, I guess, at least. Like, and not even redeeming qualities. It's like Jon Bernthal's character is like, it's not that he's redeeming. You can see where he's coming from. You get, like, if you're really watching and you pay attention, you get what makes his character tick. Like, he's like he's this meathead kind of jock guy, like, trying to make it in the police force, but there's like a vulnerability to him, and this need to be accepted by his peers. You could just tell, like, the way he plays it, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about the show. Is I think Jon Bernthal's performance is just, will probably at the end of the year be my favorite performance in TV or movie, is Jon Bernthal in We Own This City, because it's it's like this total meathead, but like right below that is this vulnerability and this need, like, and there's like really small cool character details with him. Like, at least I picked up on. I don't know if any other critics have talked about this. But it's like a thing that's put in there for sure on purpose. Like, and it's probably accurate to real life. Knowing, like, David Simon is, I don't think, doing a lot of embellishing here, but he's clearly like a non-drinker who, through the course of his career, became a fucking raging alcoholic, and like, if not raging out, maybe like in his home life he doesn't drink, but when he's on the job he's drinking very heavily and doing stupid stuff while drinking, including robbing a midget stripper. But there's ways that they make it clear that, like, this is not his, like, natural, like, very early on in one of the first or second episodes, like, they're hanging out, and he doesn't know what, like, the tequila, he doesn't know what Patron is. He calls it Pat Ron or something. What's this, Pat Ron you're drinking? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm drinking Patron. You never, his coworker's like, you never heard of Patron? Later on in the series, like, a bunch of times, he'll be drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, which is just, like, not, I don't have to explain this, but, like, and then he'll, like, come to, like, a party with like him and his coworkers, and, like, he'll have a case of beer for all of his bros, and then he has this little sixer of Mike's Hard Lemonade. No, don't give him shit about it. Like, they remark about it on the show, but the show doesn't, like, go over, like, doesn't go out of its way to explain this to you. Like, you have to pick up on these little cues and deduce that, like, he's not really a drinker. It's just, this is a thing he's doing. It's part of their explanation of him as a character, is like his need to be accepted. So I that's kind of the things I think are neat about We Own This City. There's one episode left. I do know one thing that's going to happen, because at the end of one episode, this character who is like a homicide detective, I think the actor's name is Jamie Hector. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I do this no notes off the top of my head, but he was Marlowe on The Wire. And at the end of one episode, he's offered money by Jon Bernthal. Like, they're like stealing money off of these. I think it was a drug dealer. It was a drug dealer this time, but they also steal money off of, like, regular people. But he offers this other character money, and this character, like, stops and looks, and you can tell he's like really in an uncomfortable position, but you don't know like where he's gonna go with it, and then it just cuts the credits, and it's just the show is really good at like doing that, where it cuts on a character at a very crucial moment, it kind of zooms in on their face, get the close up, and then it comes in with this like evil music, like doom, doom, doom. I love that. I love the way it cuts to like credits on the show and starts doing that evil music because it's always ending on a moment that's perfect for that. But there's an episode where it ends with John Bernthal giving this other guy, like trying to offer him money, and they don't show you what happens with it, and you just know that like he no longer works with Bernthal like years later, and he's like a homicide detective on his own. He's much happier, but you don't know whether he took the money or not there. And so I'm like, I gotta know. Like I never do this to myself where I'm watching like a true story thing. But I'm like, I gotta look. I just looked up the guy's name, like the character's name. I figured it would pop up whether he took the money or not. And that did not pop up, and I still don't know. I'm guessing he didn't. I don't know whether he picked up took the money or not. But if you look up that cop's character, like his name, Sean Suiter, you will know how it ends for his character. And wow, dude, and I'm sure that's going to be covered in the final episode coming up next week. If you don't know, I'd recommend not looking it up, but just not like trying to overhype it or anything. But it's kind of like really surprising, and it feels like something out of fiction, but it's actually something that happened. Crazy, dude. Like that. So much of the We Own the City, I'm just like, I could believe it's real because I'm very cynical at this point, but at the same time, I'm like, I cannot believe how brazen. I cannot, but I can. I can and I can't. Like it's still shocking to me, even though I shouldn't be shocked anymore. The show is absolutely fantastic. I will be one of my favorite things of the year for sure. We Own the City is essential, and it's a must watch. If you've seen The Wire, you know how great that was. This is a must add addendum to that. But you can watch it without seeing The Wire and kind of get an appreciation for what David Simon is all about and what The Wire is all about. But this is its own thing. But it's, in my opinion, just as amazing and shocking and sad and kind of just like so hard to believe it's true. So that's my thoughts on We Own the City. I'm interested to see how it ends in the final episode, even though, like I said, I know one big thing. Be interested to hear your thoughts and, I guess, reactions to what I had to say. But I really think this show is brilliant. Let me know what you think.